Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Miraculous Ladybug, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hi there.
We're back for our every other week Ladybug podcast during this off-season between seasons 3 and season 4. And this week our topic is Oblivio versus Chat Blanc, the two highest rated episodes, the two episodes you guys picked as your favorite episodes of the show in the last podcast survey, which you can find that podcast and all our other Miraculous Ladybug podcasts at overlyanimated.com. So those were the top two episodes. About 50% of you said one of the two of those episodes was your favorite. So we thought we would rewatch them and come back and talk about them again, compare the two, which is better, what are the similarities, what are the differences. We'll get into that today. So yes, make sure you're subscribing to everything, youtube.com/overlyanimated. So we've rewatched the episodes. I guess first question is how was rewatching? What'd you think of both of them? Any differences since we first talked about each of these episodes, Delaney?
Okay, so I rewatched them in what I'll call order, like the Netflix order. I rewatched Oblivio first and then Chat Blanc, and I watched them back to back. And then I took some notes. And
whoa,
they're not extensive notes. They're not extensive.
Delaney says that like, okay, sure, no. Have you ever taken notes before?
You know I have. I used to send you absurd amounts of notes.
But like, I feel like recent Ladybug podcasts, you never talk about
absolutely.
notes. April is the notes person.
Why would I take notes from Miraculous Ladybug?
Okay, so this is a difference than normal.
This is different than normal. So, but it's a comparison podcast. So I think originally I liked Oblivio more. Like I would say with confidence that I liked Oblivio more. But after rewatching them, I don't know. And I'm not saying I dislike Chat Blanc, because obviously it's a great episode and it's one of the best of the series. And I don't know, I feel kind of conflicted about it because the episodes are very different, yet they are very similar. And then it's just I don't know. I have emotional responses to both episodes. And they're similar emotional responses, but then they're also the flip side of each other because Oblivio, they both make you hate yourself because you're I hate y'all. Y'all know each other are. And then at the end, you don't. It's super annoying. They do this all the time and it's frustrating, but it's their thing. I get it. It's fine. But then Oblivio is really sweet and more lighthearted, and then you watch Chat Blanc and you're oh my god, Adrian just straight up ended the world. So it's one of those things. Really, I don't know. So I will say I definitely enjoyed both of them on rewatch, and it's kind of sometimes physically painful to rewatch Ladybug, and Ladybug is one of those shows that sometimes one viewing is all you need, but I definitely would say that rewatching these episodes gave me more of an appreciation for Chat Blanc. But I think it's also one of the Ladybug episodes have a shock factor to them because the show is ridiculous. And so I do think rewatch. Because at first you watch Chat Blanc and you're what? He blew up the world. This is nuts. And you're also kind of confusing because the pacing in these episodes are off the charts. Not in a bad way, but you're just I have no idea what's going on. So I think rewatching definitely helped, and I really enjoy both episodes. And right now, maybe over discussion, I'll pick one, but right now, I'm not sure I could pick one.
Okay, that's fun. So Delaney, after rewatch, on the fence on which she likes more. April, how about you? How was your rewatch of the two episodes, and what are you feeling about them now?
Okay, so I agree with Delaney that it was really good to rewatch both of these episodes, especially because I don't remember how I initially felt in terms of which one I liked better. That being said, so the way that I watched them, because I'm just really lazy, so I was okay, I'm gonna watch Oblivio, that's the first one that shows up on Netflix, and then I was yeah, I'm just gonna watch every episode in between until we get to Chat Blanc.
Are you serious? Really? How did you hide this until now?
I was so lazy. I was
that's 15 episodes in between.
That's not even laziness. I'm confused.
She just didn't want to go back on Netflix to...
Yeah, because, I think, so this is going to sound even worse. I think that the batteries in the remote are dying.
Oh my god.
Were you paying close attention to every episode?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay. Well, off the top of your head, what is the best episode you rewatched during this accidental binge of Ladybug season 3?
Chris Master.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer.
Okay. No, bad answer. I'm irritated.
Do we need the Chris Master versus Reverser? Or I don't know. Yeah.
Absolutely
podcast.
not.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely not. Although the one where they're in the wax museum is.
Oh my god. That episode is fantastic, but like it's one of those episodes you're like, can I die?
Yeah. So now that we've laid out that groundwork onto April's rewatch,
so you were once you finally got to Chat Blanc, you were very ready.
Yeah, I was ready. Okay. Well, I was like, oh, I should have just like not done this, but whatever.
Wow. Okay, I want to know, did you figure this out after the immediate next episode, or how many episodes did you get through before you were like, why did I do this?
I literally got to like the episode before, and I was like, I could have just been watching other things, like. Not that I don't enjoy rewatching Ladybug.
Binging remorse.
But there's just like a list of shows that I need to like catch up on and watch and things like that. I was like, here I am rewatching Ladybug, whatever, it's fine.
It's a good move,
right. So that being said, now that we've come off that rant of April's laziness, I think I liked Oblivio more this time around, and I don't remember how I felt the first time, but because Oblivio it's easy to be sort of like you're in it and you're there with the characters, and I think that's a really nice element about it. Whereas like Chat Blanc, this is gonna sound even worse. I had to watch it like twice again because the first time
Jesus, April.
Look, I have a lot of time on my hands, okay?
Obviously.
Look, some people are committed to this podcast.
I straight up watch these episodes at work.
Some people are committed to this podcast and still recovering from being sick, so they have lots of time, okay?
Excuse me, I am so sorry for insulting the voice of the people. I am.
Oh yeah, I was going to introduce April as the voice of the people. Yeah, that's true. I forgot to do that.
Oh my gosh, you did it? Now I'm upset.
Well, you heard it. You didn't do it.
But just because like I feel like Chat Blanc's very like it feels hard to follow. Like I understood what was going on because I've seen it before, but even like with that knowledge and understanding, I was like, oh, like we're all over the place, which I mean Ladybug is great at doing, and it's still an amazing episode. But like I was like, I had that moment again where I was like, what did I watch? And then I had to go back again.
Well, have you felt this way about, I mean, time travel is, weirdly enough, not a new or weird thing in this show.
No, it's really not. But every time we time travel, it's different, so. Right,
so I'm like, have you felt that way? Because, like, it is sort of just a feature of time travel. Like, mechanics, granted, obviously sometimes it's done really well and sometimes it's not. And then also, there's also a personal preference thing. Like, my mother hates time travel things. Funnily enough, she loves Doctor Who, though, so I don't know. Like,
that doesn't make sense.
Doctor Who's different, though, too. Like, usually you're in one episode and you're in, like, they go back in the beginning of the episode and they're there the whole time. And then they just, like...
Yeah.
That's not usually as confusing as, like, an episode. Like, my mom would watch this and be like, I hate it. And I'm like, okay, that's fair.
Well, and I think the other thing with, like, and we've discussed this, like, multiple times about Chat Blanc is the fact that, like, we go through this, like, identity thing, which, you know, granted, Ladybug is terrible at the whole secret identity nonsense. Like, there's no denying that. But I still, like... I don't know. It like messes with me, and then
we we miraculous through time. So that was something that was like,
but I
think hard to grasp initially.
But the other thing that is hard for me at the end of Chat Blanc is like that, because I made sure to really pay attention during this part because. It confused me the first time, it confused me the second time, and the third time that I've watched it today, or whatever.
And I was like, I'm still confused.
But, because at the end of it, she uses the eraser, so she goes back to Ladybug Marinette, who knows Adrian is Chat Noir, like knows all about the whole instance, she knows everything that took place, goes back, erases her name off of the card, like she herself does that, and then she does the Miraculous Ladybugs things, but it's still her. So wouldn't
the thing is, she doesn't know Adrian is Cat Noir.
Yeah, okay. You guys are taking a deep dive into the part I was also most eager to discuss about Chat Blanc this time.
We're doing it now.
But no. And then there's this chalkboard sequence, right? Okay, we can do it now, fine. And then Bunnix is like lying to her, about how Adrian knew she's Marinette, or how Cat Noir knew she's Marinette. And so she goes through this whole mental thing, like on the chalkboard. That's this whole part of the episode is to justify that Marinette doesn't know Adrian is Cat Noir.
It's confusing because like the reason, and I'm sure there are still viewers who are very confused because it is confusing to follow, because I think they don't do a good job of showing the difference between, like, because the thing is, there's
multiple instances of each of them, and there's
but on top of that, it's also unclear when we're watching the show like normal, we're watching Marinette do Marinette stuff, but then when we're Bunnix watching, because the flashes we're seeing are Bunnix trying to figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, we're going into different screens.
So she's trying to figure out what's going on.
Because she figures it out.
Yeah, anyway, okay, but I'll jump back into this in my thoughts. But so the point being that part being so confusing, April, is a reason you're not as high on that episode. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's just because, I mean, I still like the episode, don't get me wrong. It's still a great episode, but I just I'm more high on Oblivio than I am Chat Blanc, so.
Okay, we can continue this in my thoughts. I have similar thoughts. So, Oblivio rewatch. I appreciated it a little bit more. It's, I think I thought it was too busy at first, but I actually think the opposite now. I think it's one of the more low-key episodes of Ladybug. Like, it's 2/3 of it is pretty simple and slow. And that's really nice. It feels, I mean, we're used to just hijinks nonstop, like, and shenanigans. So, like, it is a little different, but it's a really nice episode. They jam a little bit too much in at the end, but, it's for what Oblivio is, I think it's really good. And I don't know, like, I forgot that they kissed, like, there's a Lady Noir kiss, like, that the episode is centered on, so we needed to rewatch this episode, but that's like a great moment, and then they like know about it at the end, and I don't know, I feel like there should have been more consequences from that, but they should have pushed them together sooner, but no. But yeah, just the two of them when they don't have their memories is really great, and it's just a good episode. Like, I don't think it's one of the 10 best episodes of the show. It might be in my 10 most favorite, and we're asking you guys to pick your favorite, not the best, so I understand that. Chat Blanc, so we've been struggling with this episode. Like, this is the not like it's a terrible way or anything. Like, it's clearly a good episode, and I understand why so many people might have it as their favorite, because it's one of the biggest scale episodes of Ladybug. And I think the things you appreciate more on rewatch, and maybe this is what Delaney tapped into, is just like how well constructed this episode is. It's like, in terms of certain scenes are storyboarded super well. Clearly there's like a ton of care that went into it. And also just like the epicness of it is really great. And if that's what you want from Ladybug, like, and I think a lot of us are craving that, like we want the identity reveal, we want the romances to progress. So, all these things happening in Chat Blanc is very appealing. And just the aesthetic of the episode's really good. It has, Bunnix is a great character. It has all that. Definitely, like, the big thing I struggle with this episode is it's the most complicated episode of Ladybug. I think
it's almost too high concept for Ladybug.
Yeah. I think they could, I don't know, like, on one hand, I think this is one of the most carefully constructed, and I know, like, Thomas spent so much time on this episode and stuff, and other people, so, like, I hesitate to criticize, but, like, I feel like there is a version of this episode which isn't so complicated, and, like, we were talking about this chalkboard scene, it really only clicked to me on, this fourth or fifth viewing. Like, I understand conceptually, I guess, what they're doing, but you just really need to, like, understand as it's happening for it to work. And this is the first time I really got that this is all there just to justify that Marinette doesn't know that Adrian is Cat. In this version of Marinette, which is our version of Marinette. And it's like, why is this here at the end of this episode? It's very anticlimactic. Like, the end of this episode is kind of not good, I think. Like, the rest of the episode, I think, is good to great. But then there's just, like, they're juggling so many balls and in such like kind of a confusing manner that it doesn't really tie together for me. So I guess in the end, like, I don't think Chat Blanc is like this great episode. I like it. I understand it's a special episode of Ladybug. I kind of think it's an average episode though, just because I kind of do think parts of the end are don't work. Like, and usually the show always works.
Well, like, they could have just stopped. Like, to me, I feel like the chalkboard scene, like, I understand why they did it, but it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I think you don't need, and I think you probably don't need to tie it all together. Like, it's
like,
just,
to me, the confusing part is, like, which I got it on the second viewing, is that when we see certain things, it's Bunnix. Like, we're seeing her, like, which they have some good place scenes where it's her flipping and her trying to figure out what's going on, and that's what we're watching. But then, like, there's no real reason for her to justify why people found out, like why Cat Noir found out. But granted, that's also, like, I get it for, like, continuity for Marinette, because we understand that, like, it's because Cat Noir is Adrian. So I don't know.
Yeah, the fact that it's easy to take for granted once you've seen the episode a few times but Bunnix is just watching all this stuff happen. That is confusing though the first time you're watching.
Yes. Well, it's because and we're jumping through, and because that's also the other thing is, like, this time travel concept and, like, where Bunnix is something that, I mean, that's kind of like that's a whole kind of new mythology universe kind of thing. And then we're also dealing with this very confusing, like, time thing.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother thing. It's like where the Bunnix's burrow and, like, what that means. And that's not even top of mind for me watching, is like everything that's going on with Bunnix. And the episode even cares to stop and say, like, oh, do you know, like, everything? And she's like, yep, but I can't say anything. It's like clearly they care that every single point is touched on. But there's too much stuff. And for me, the thing that is, like, about the chalkboard is, like, tracking which version of each character knows who different people are is very hard, I think. And I think the episode struggles with that. And the other thing is, like, the consequence. I think this episode moves really fast. I think at points this is the fastest episode of Ladybug. And so, I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but there's a sequence of Marinette and Adrian dating, and sure, they're kind of dating in Oblivio, but this is, like, alternate versions of them. In Chat Blanc, it's alternate versions of them, but it's from the point that we know of. Like, it feels more real, I guess.
Right, like, we see the starting point, and then we hit this divergent.
Yeah, it's just a branch off of our present, and so we see them dating. But
technically, it is the future. Like, it is the future as it would continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're still back to the point. Okay. So it is still the future. Anyway, like, there's this point where they're dating and it's like 30 seconds. Like, we spend so little time with them together, and it's just jarring it's like, it doesn't matter to the episode that Marinette, I mean, it matters in that it's what happens to get to the Chat Blanc parts, like the dramatic scenes with Hawkmock, but, like, that's what I care about. And it's, like, such a small part of the episode.
Well, it's kind of also, like, it's almost, I don't want to say that they didn't spend enough time in places, but, like, this is extremely convoluted, and you have to think about it. This is only a 22-minute episode, and we go from, like, because Marinette left her name on the present and Adrian saw her go out the window, he connects the dots, they start dating, and then Hawkmock, because he's literally the worst person on earth, breaks them up just to akumatize Marinette. And then he finds out, like, it's nuts. That could be, like, literally its own episode, but that's, like, the side story.
Yeah, it's very quick. And related to that, two other points, I guess, if we're on the criticisms of Chat Blanc part, is one, that whole thing is, like, justification for why they can't know who each other are. Like, that's what this episode is. This episode is the world blows up when they find out who each other are, which is so frustrating because that's what we want to happen. So I think conceptually it's kind of like a frustrating thing. And then second,
it's also one of those things that like I don't believe. Like it's almost too ridiculous because like.
Yeah, okay, okay, I'll have a third. Okay, so you reminded me of another criticism, which is that this episode is ridiculous, but its tone is very serious. And
that's the other thing, though. That is something I appreciate about the episode, and I think that's another reason. Like, this is an extremely dark episode, and we treat it as such. Like, Marinette finds her dead body.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think at times it works. Other times, mostly when Chat Blanc's white energy ball goes into above Earth and then into the galaxy
and
or whatever.
And then Bonnet says he's going to end the world. No, he's going to end the whole universe.
Yeah,
right?
He specifically showed the universe. but that part, that's like
that might be a problem with the dub, but like, oh my god,
it's played serious, but that's ridiculous that his energy ball goes over Earth, and that this happens in Ladybug. We get external shots of the Earth, but there's always a tone of like general humor in Ladybug, and
you mean like space dumpsters?
Like it's especially in certain episodes, but the default Ladybug episode is generally it doesn't take itself seriously. This episode is taking itself seriously, and it still has stupid things in it, and so they actually play as stupid instead of funny. Like, I actually think that part of the episode is pretty stupid.
I think that is something I appreciate. Like, the part that I really appreciate about the power thing is, like, we understand and we've seen evidence of this, and they've talked about it, about how powerful Plog is.
Yes.
And, like, because we've talked about this, and like, we've seen it in the show, that the characters have discussed it. And I guess part of it is because we can talk about, like, it's silly because Marinette, so we have Tiki and Plog. Tiki is the power of creation, and Plog is the power of destruction. But what I don't understand is why Plog has this endless ability and Marinette gets like a spoon.
Yeah, maybe we'll dig into Lucky Charm.
And I legitimately like a literal spoon. Like, she goes, Lucky Charm, and it's a spoon. And she's like, this is great. But it's like, what are you doing? But like the part like I legitimately enjoyed though is like we actually explore, and I don't mean like the ridiculous shot of him. I forgot about that. And then I was watching and I was like, oh dear God. But like when he destroys the moon, the fact that he like flattened Paris, like that kind of stuff, I think is compelling and is backed up by other stuff we've seen in the show. But like what you're talking about, like the fact when they go out to like the universe, that's like stupid. But, like, I thought, like, the moon, like, to me, that was reasonable. Especially since he had, like, granted, not that he actually has the infinite power of destruction, but, like, that's the literal power Hawkmoth gave him.
Yeah, and I think, I definitely think what you're saying is a good point, that this is actually exploring this in a serious way, and that's a pretty cool concept. For me, the moonshot's also stupid, but like, it's cool. I mean, it just depends on, I guess, how you view the episode. But for me, that's in the similar realm. Here's another criticism we can throw to April on this, as it's her realm of expertise, is that this episode, Chat Blanc, features Hawkmoth at his most detestable.
Yes.
And it's kind of frustrating to me because the episode is doing so many things at such a fast pace that it doesn't stop and explain why he's doing this. Like, we so frequently like take pains to understand Gabriel's mindset and like make him a sympathetic villain. But in this episode, it's just like, oh, he's just terrible and akumatizes his son while knowing it's his son, and we don't really understand why. Like,
the thing that really, really gets me, and it didn't really get me until this rewatch, was. So it's extremely emotional. It's played emotional when Natalie is on the phone with Hawkmoth and she's like, your son is Cat Noir. That is like a big deal.
Mm.
Yeah.
And he drops his cane and you're like, oh my God. And then he's like, I'm bored. This is amazing. And I'm
then he's like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how he'd react.
That is dumb. So like, that's the part that really, like, that's the part that loses me.
Well, and it's so like, unsupported that he would ever do that. Like, it's one of those like ideas that is very ridiculous to the show or to this episode, because like at any point, like, I'm sure Hawkmoth could have easily akumatized Adrian. Like, we've discussed this before, that like surely he understands and picks up like his son's despair constantly just because of how Adrian
needs a therapist.
Yeah, Adrian needs a therapist. But like for him to just be so excited about akumatizing his son of all people, like, why is he so eager to do it now? All of a sudden,
it's also like this is completely like this is honestly completely out of character, which I understand. This whole like we're going the worst possible scenario to show that they can't know each other's identities, but like. Gabriel would never do anything to hurt his son. We know that for a fact. Now, granted, he is a terrible father, but this is like he legit, not that he's effective, but he does want what's best for his son, and he does everything to protect him and he's crazy because his wife is in a dead wife garden. And so that's the part that I think really like him breaking up Adrian and Marinette to akumatize Marinette makes perfect sense to me. That is something he absolutely would do. Like, he would do it.
Yeah,
but we also don't spend a little bit of time to justify that. But I agree that's more believable. But anyway, like I think the framing is that, as I think we've talked about this, but all of this is in the context of this is a dramatic like AU of Lady. Like this is like intended to be like the most dramatic possible future. And like, of course we're like, Hawkmoth wouldn't do that. Like, of course he could do all this, but it's not in line with most things we've seen him do, but he is generally not good. So like he could do all this. And that's what this episode is. This is like what could happen at its worst. And so you have to really get into that mindset, I think. And it's like such a dramatic fanficky mindset. So maybe I think people who are more into the angst fix, like this episode is more in line with that. But I think it like skips out on things that Ladybug usually does.
Well, we also think it's so unbelievably stupid, the whole like they can't know who each other are. Because there's the magic argument, but then we're also like, is it that real or not? And then there's this, and it's like, what is the truth?
Yeah, and that's what makes me like not even want to give this episode the benefit of the doubt, is just it's based on something I don't like, which is like justifying this concept, right? But that's not necessarily fair. But okay,
this is like, again, like this is such an extreme episode. Like, okay, yeah, this is like a very real possibility that could happen if they find out like each other's identities. But like it just seems really, again, it's a very extreme that like Adrian would be the person to find out Ladybug's identity before like Ladybug or Marinette discovers like Adrian / Chat Noir's identity. Like that doesn't seem like plausible. And that, you know, and they're literally like, if they find out, the world's going to end. Like, done, set. Like, that's it.
Also, love Cat Noir. He is so incompetent. How does this happen?
But
I don't blame Cat, but maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
No. I'm not blaming him for this happening. That's why it's part of it is so unbelievable. Is because I love Adrian, but he's kind of dumb.
Yeah. Well, okay. How about I don't know, speaking of that, I guess good parts of the episode, like I do think that scene of Adrian torn between the two of them that leads to this. I think there's a lot of scenes which are really great. Like that.
There's a lot of like great scenes, but like all of the really great scenes are scenes that didn't like. They were literally just thrown in there, I guess, for our viewing pleasure kind of thing, because it's all like Bunnix just going through like what had happened kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think like this scene with him torn, I think it's kind of the core of the episode, but there's also them fighting on the fallen Eiffel Tower. That's like a classic Ladybug set piece. I think it like the future, the Cat Blanc world. I think that's really great. Just the episode keeps like the scale of epicness too, like even just from like time to de-evilize Cat Noir, to like My Prince. I don't know if these are dub things, but we think we originally watched this episode in French, but I do like I think there's tons of really cool stuff. I love the detail with the unicorn plush. That's like
I really enjoyed that
which
too.
future it is. I think that's really great. Seeing like Marinette, how she's acting with friends and reacting and stuff, and just and it's short, but the sequence of them dating, it's really like large portions of this episode. And so I think I definitely, and it's so different than most of what Ladybug is. So I feel like it's easy to understand why someone would love this episode. Like it's like, if this is what you're looking for, like clearly, like it's this episode, you know, like there's nothing like it here.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a very unique episode, which may again be another reason why at least I personally like struggle with it, because it's so far outside of Ladybug.
Yeah, and maybe we just need to 5 more rewatches of it. You know, maybe it'll work.
We'll just rewatch this single episode like 20 times until we get
5
it.
months from now, we'll do the revisiting Chat Blanc.
Have our opinions change?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, more on Oblivio now. How about this? So, this episode, I was thinking, I called this episode slow paced at times. There's also like, Delaney was talking about Tiki and Plog stuff. This episode is a whole Tiki Plog subplot, in Oblivio of their drama.
And Tiki just like is so mean to Plog. It's amazing.
He just goes off on him. It's
he deserves
wonderful.
it.
He really does, though.
I have to know what smells so delicious in that boy's shirt.
On one hand, like, this episode I do think is, and you guys can tell me you agree or disagree, I think at times Oblivio is the slowest paced episode of Ladybug.
I would say definitely. I will say what kind of throws you is the beginning and the end. Because the beginning, you're like, they don't know who they are, and like they're about to die.
You're thrown right into it, yeah.
And like they're about to die in an elevator, and then you're like, I have no idea what's going on, and it's great because you're like experiencing it with them.
But I think this like sort of slow pacing makes sense given like the context of like their situation, you know, because like Ladybug's great whenever it's going like at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but like we're literally like right there with them trying to figure out what happened or who we are for that matter. And I think that you can only go at that at a slow pace because they're also not like superheroes for the majority of the episode either. Like they're just themselves trying to figure out what's going on and how they're going to fix the situation.
Yeah, I think the pacing matches the concept, and I think it's done really well. Like I generally do have good things to say about Oblivio, and like the slow pacing, I think in some ways, how we said Chat Blanc, there's no episode like Chat Blanc. There's no episode like Oblivio either. It's like, I think because of how meticulously paced this episode is, I think Oblivio is really different as well. I think these are maybe the 2 most different episodes of Ladybug, and if you want to like exclude clip shows and stuff. But those are, I guess, are fast paced. I don't know. But Oblivio, when's our revisiting all the clip shows episodes podcast?
Oh,
When's April doing a report on her previous report of the first podcast? No, Oblivio. So I think this episode, like, for me, this is like appealingly different because of how slow paced it is. Like, Ladybug's already full throttle, so Chat Blanc going extra full throttle was like, whoa, too much. Oblivio's like, oh, this is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, we were like, we were like, okay, we're gonna go up 1 gear, and then Chat Blanc's like, all the gears.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
You want to take this to infinity? Let's go.
So I think that's the argument for Oblivio is like, Chat Blanc's an extreme version of what Ladybug already is. Oblivio is a lot different paced than that. And that being said, there's still things thrown in like the Tiki Plog subplot, which my inclination is to take out. Like, I didn't like that, but at the same time, this episode's still slow slow in a good way for me. But I could see someone saying it's slow in a bad way. But I think it's slow in a good way. Without it, like even with it, it's like that. So you take it out. What else do you do? There's also like the Super Penguino stuff at the end. That's like so random.
And dumb, like.
I guess you just need nonsense. At the end of the slowest paced Ladybug episode, you just need the most nonsense, which is all the children in the class saying how they hook up all the time. Like, this is like, I guess that's what you need at the end of the episode. No, it's so weird. It's also like the most innocent, cute episode, and then you have this weird metaphor at the end.
I think it's great.
Yeah. People were mad we missed this. So what's our Super Penguino analysis? Like, Chloe, Sabrina, we haven't really revisited that, right? That's confirmed now, canon.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, Nino, we knew that, and they're embarrassed that it was happening.
They got caught.
They were in a closet playing Penguino. What even? Like, the metaphor is like hurtful.
Rose and Julica, yes, confirmed.
Yes,
yeah.
Our neighborhood gays.
Yeah. Was there a third? Was there another one? Was there?
I mean, Nathaniel and
oh yeah,
I don't even remember his name.
Mark.
Sorry,
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah, where's Mark here? Because he's not in their class, right? I guess. But isn't he in there? Okay, we don't need to get. Well, next week's podcast is who's in the class now. That's the.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. So
investigation.
Okay, so it's a game. It's a game. So Dylan is like, okay, guys, we're gonna do roll
person
call
in their
and
class.
So me and April have to like.
It'd actually be pretty good. I just don't know how I determine who's in the class at any given time. Okay, no, we just take the most recent episode, I guess. Okay, so you had the Super Pinguino stuff, you had the Plag and Tiki stuff. Yeah, I don't like that much, but it's there's this one shot of Plag imagining Tiki like berating him. Yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just generally with Oblivio them when they don't have memories, like they think they're dating, and
oh my God, when they're showing each other pictures, I was like, one, it's amazing. Like they're both creepy stalkers, and it's amazing.
The scene when they show each other all the pictures they have of Ladybug and Adrian is like, and they're like, oh, we must be dating. It's like totally justifies the concept of the episode. It's like this is a reality check. This episode is like, this show is stupid, and here's what should be happening considering all factors involved. And then Chat Blanc's like, this is why it's not happening, I guess. That's such a great scene for the show. Is like, we must be together. And we get Ladrian kiss on the cheek. That's good. I guess not really Ladrian, because I think it's fundamental to their dynamics of the heroes is them knowing certain things. So this is like breaks that, like knowing the identities. And then we get the dramatic Lady Noir kiss, which is photographed, and then they see it. But then there's like a moment of like the origin of Milady. Like I feel like the episode tries to like explain why he calls it. Yeah.
It's terrible.
So this episode is you could maybe call it too cute with certain things. I don't know. I like that.
It's incredible. I think part of it's also because it's just so sweet that you're like, this is the best thing I've ever watched.
Yeah, fundamentally, it's just like they're just really cute together, memoryless Adrian and Marinette. So I think that's like the fundamental part of Oblivio.
Also, we get to see just Marinette being super clever and smart, and I love whenever Marinette gets to be like really smart and clever without being Ladybug. Like those are always some of my favorite episodes.
And then Adrian, in his ever wisdom, creates a cardboard costume.
That's right.
Incredible.
Cardboard costume. And he looks like a cat too.
I hate him.
Yeah. I think I criticized that on the Oblivio podcast. I think that's fine. I think it's cute. It fits in with their
he just really wanted to help out.
Yeah.
I think
it's
the
very
like
of them
sweet this time around.
Yeah, it is good. I think Oblivio is just really solid and fun. You could say there's maybe not enough there, or it's not like the scale, like. But I think it's like any criticism is like just it's intentional. Like it's supposed to be slower paced. It's supposed to be this bottle episode. So I feel like it really works for what it is.
I like it.
Honestly, I think like after we've criticized Chat Blanc, which I still love that episode. It's a great episode. I do think like I personally prefer Oblivio, mainly because they're just so darn cute. Also, like
it's the angst. Do you want the angst or do you want the
to be fair, there's still angst because like we're masochists. That's how it works when you watch Ladybug because like you're like they're like, oh, we must be dating and they're being super cute, and then you're like, this will never, because the difference is like Oblivio, this feels more natural. Like number one, they should be dating. Number two, they like this feels more like how they would act normally.
Yeah.
Versus Chat Blanc, which is like, what are y'all doing? Y'all cray. Like,
well, and the other thing, like Delaney was saying, like in Oblivio, it's just so much more like natural, like them being together, like all of that stuff. Where like in Chat Blanc, like the only reason why Adrian like admits that he like loves Marinette or anything like that is because he simply finds out that she's Ladybug, and like that's it. It's like his mind just did like a 180, and he was like, oh my god, Marinette, I love her now. Like, and it's like, okay, first off, you've loved her this entire time, but like, it shouldn't take like you finding out that she's Ladybug to for you to be like, let's do this.
That moment is like justification for like all they need to know is who each other are, and it'll all click into place. Like it's like totally like the end result of us yelling about that. But I agree, it's like a little bit unsatisfying.
It's so unsatisfying. Yeah. Like that's not how I want this to go down.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you want to hear more of how Adrian's mindset is, other than he's just like, oh, he loves Ladybug. Once he finds out Marinette is Ladybug, he loves Marinette. Like you want it to be more complicated and more grand. And
yes, give me the drama.
Just more meaningful, right? Like it's yeah. So I think it is in that. I think it is. It's just so fast that we don't dig into Adrian's thought process or anything. But and last thing is, as of course, and I think we've touched on this, but both episodes, these are the two episodes where they learn each other's identities. We get the identity reveal, and then they just forget about it. Yeah. Yep. So. I guess it's not that simple. It's like one is like not really them. They lost their memory already, and the other one is like Adrian knows, but Marinette never knows, or at least our Marinette. But then Adrian's version of Marinette's anyway. We see things play out as how this might happen with them learning each other's identities. Do we think we'll get more of this type of episode if they keep punting the identity reveal? Like we surveyed you guys and you all think that's not happening soon. So do we think season 4 will just have like 5 of this type of episode? Or are we going to lay off
and we'll slowly go insane? No, every episode is like this.
We're not already slowly going insane?
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, fair. I think that's wrong. What this podcast is. But like these, so do like I feel like you have to lay off this if you're actually going to do like when they stop doing episodes like this is when the identity reveal's coming, because
you're right.
Yeah, like so maybe it's a bad sign if we see a bunch of.
The problem is, I almost believe that they're going to do the identity reveal, and I'm like, I don't believe it. It's not real.
Right? Well,
it's going to be real, and we're not going to like. We'll continue to not believe it until the next episode, and we're like, oh, that was actually a thing. Got it.
Well, it's like cry wolf 3 times. Really, the third time you don't believe it and it's real. Like we've seen attempts 1 and 2 here. So if it happens in the season 4 premiere, we just won't believe it. I think that's
not happening. Good. Yeah, I don't.
I think we'll legitimately think. Did we miss something about when their memories got wiped? Oh, we must have missed it. I guess we'll go back and watch that. Like,
did she do the ladybugs? I don't know.
I guess that was off screen. I guess it was implied that their memories got wiped. I guess
we're just gonna assume.
Yeah. I think that's a legitimate thing on how we could react here.
No, and then everyone's going to be really mad at us. It's going to be a really great time. I'm excited.
So is that us trolling the fans when the identity reveal happens, or is
that
our genuine reaction?
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay. We'll see. You won't know if we're trolling or if we're serious.
Or it happens and we're all just like laughing maniacally because we've absolutely at last lost our minds.
Yes, I think at some point this will just be deranged laughter. Yeah, April will be doing the hawk moth laugh
with ladybugs or not ladybugs, butterflies all around me.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I had never actually felt crazy before until I was explaining to my fiance like something about the show, and I was like, I was talking about these episodes, and then I had to explain the concept of the dead wife garden, and I was like, how else am I like, it's a dead wife garden. And you feel absolutely insane talking about it. Exactly. And I'm like, well, like, it is. It's the dead wife garden. So
she doesn't know about this, having listened to half of the podcast.
Well, she hasn't seen she doesn't watch Ladybug with me. So she's only she's seen the bits and pieces, and she's seen several episodes. Like if an episode's really good, she'll sit down and watch it with me. But she just hasn't seen the dead wife garden. I don't think she knew that Adrian's mom was there. Like I don't think she's seen that. I was like, yeah, she's like in a stasis pod.
Okay.
Like, what?
How dare she? Needs to
right.
Amber was outraged at the
Amber.
Need to enlighten everyone about the dead wife garden. Okay. Any final thoughts on Oblivio Chat Blanc? I have a few other things to get to. Not related to them. Not unrelated things.
No. I feel like we covered it all. Pretty.
It's good, concise retouching on these 2 episodes. Delaney, anything else?
I'm glad we rewatched them.
Yay. Okay. So what Delaney's saying is she's up for infinite rewatch.
No, let's. I can do 2. And we can heavily discuss other things. Like I can do comparison pods.
Okay.
So like, let's not get crazy.
Yeah. We won't get crazy. I see someone's cursor. I guess the last thing is a part that I wanted to re-highlight from Chat Blanc, which is Hawkmoth hits Adrian to the Eiffel Tower from his secret lair, which I know we've talked about before, but is
also like
it still doesn't make sense.
Important. In Chat Blanc, when we're doing the flashbacks, we see the Akuma fly out of a window in the house.
Interesting.
So we see, like, the thing is, we see it comes out, and then like we follow it down as it goes towards Marinette.
Oh, so you think it's confirmed that the secret lair is in the house, is what you're saying?
Like, and I understand that he goes down, but I'm pretty sure he goes up. It's a very like he is in a tower.
Okay, so now we found the real topic for next podcast: determining the logistics of Hawkmoth's lair. I think that'd be a good podcast name, actually. So I'm gonna write that down.
Determining the logistics of Hawkmoth's lair, because it's also like connected to the Dead Wife Garden.
Yeah.
I can add this to the Butterflies Are Stupid podcast.
I think it's related. That's true. That's also written down.
I have an outline. There's a legitimate outline.
It's an outline. It's we have it saved.
Multiple points as to why the butterflies are stupid.
We mean had. We'll be hitting on this eventually, Delaney. So get ready. Keep it ready. Keep it fresh.
Oh, it's here. It's in the drive.
Okay, it's good. It's there. Okay, here's a segment. Before we talk about next podcast. Occasionally we might do the Instagram corner. I don't know if I think like we can have these recurring segments that we occasionally check in on. Like we've had the Instagram corner a few times. I want to present checking in on Thomas's Twitter as a recurring segment.
Oh my god!
Here.
You don't understand this.
So we have some updates
and we were like, oh my god.
Delaney brought to my attention a tweet that we must talk about. So
we absolutely have to talk about
is it the one that I think it is?
Well, we'll see. So there's a few tweets first.
Okay.
In general. So here's the update on Thomas's Twitter because he's deleted all his past tweets. First, and then he split his account into Thomas _Awestruck, and then a two account for Ladybug, and then non-Ladybug related tweets. Okay, fine, solid move. Deleting the tweets though. Very good decision. No, very good decision.
No.
Because there's at least one tweet which we absolutely hated several years ago, and that is off the record now. So good job. I think this is anyone with a questionable history of tweets in any capacity, and 99% of Thomas's tweets are great, right? But any percent, you got to delete them all. So you did that. Okay. Now some actual content from his Ladybug related Twitter, which is you should follow.
I don't even think I follow it because I didn't know he did it.
Yeah, this is a recent update, and we've been graced with being followed by both of his accounts.
Yes.
So thank you, Thomas.
What's his other account?
The same one, but _2 at the end, I think.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So okay, here's actual tweets first. Let me confirm the _2 at the end. Unintentional production update from Thomas is on March 1st he tweeted, "My Sunday soundtrack writing episode 509 mode repeat." And Think One Thing and Sing is the song name from Remy. Something. So you can find the tweet. So anyway, that's not the song is not the point. So they're writing season 5 right now.
We're season 4.
So they're writing season 5. I mean, this is normal. So animation, you have to long time post writing in the process. So you could be airing one season, the next season is being like animated, and then the season after that is being written. So this is actually pretty normal. I kind of thought they were done writing season 5. I guess we maybe thought that they were writing them together or something, but we took that for granted. But season 4 is done being written. Season 5 is in the process of being written. So, this might, and if we skip down to the last one, because that's kind of a related production update, is Thomas tweeted, "Guess where the writing team was a bit before Chinese New Year?" And then it's a whole thread about how they went to China for, I assume, is the Shanghai special. They're in Shanghai. We've kind of known that they might be doing a Shanghai special for a few years, but I guess now it's finally happening in season 5 or at the end of season 4. Unclear. Yeah, so they took a trip to Shanghai to write presumably the special. But anyway, like the fact that they aren't like done with season 5 writing means that I think we could see, like, I'm now buying that it might be until like fall or later until we get season 4 premiering, because that just indicates to me they're not that far ahead in production.
Yeah.
Like they're probably still finishing up, and we don't even know for sure if they're locked on any episodes of season 4. I assume they are, but I don't know. And then of course that means there'll be a delay between seasons 4 and 5. At some point, maybe the show got its production a little tighter. The show generally is slower made than most shows. But yeah, in general, to me, that it just signals that I'm buying the wait now more so than before, which is sad, but also exciting that they're writing season 5, and that they're done writing season 4, which we've seen none of yet. Okay, here's the real fun stuff though. So this lady alerted me to this thread that Thomas went off on March 1st. He had a whole thread just ranting about people illegally selling Ladybug merchandise without, like, non-Zag, like just random people selling Ladybug merch, and how this is like a copyright violation. And he did a picture of Etsy, which has a bunch of things that are, and Etsy totally has like non-sanctioned merch for a bunch of properties.
Oh my god, like every property imaginable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a bunch of people like writing back to Thomas, like, no, you're wrong. Like,
oh my
no.
god, the replies are like literally straight up my favorite thing. They're so good.
So no, Thomas is right. Like they own Ladybug. You can't make merch.
It's
for
so
something you don't
good.
own. Like so why are you arguing with him? Like
it's incredible. Like it is literally like it's just so wonderful. It's so, like, one, it's hysterical. 2, it's like, y'all are wrong. Like, I know y'all are on Tumblr and everyone makes fan art. But, like, if you sell fan art of something that isn't yours, it's not okay. Like, I don't know. Why is this such a hard concept to grasp?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people, we're just really used to, like, Etsy selling a bunch of stuff, and then you write fan art,
the best
fan
part
fiction.
Is when they're like, well, it's your fault. There isn't Ladybug merch. Like, he has literally no, like...
And it's not, Thomas does not determine that. Also, they did announce better toys coming soon, so that's good.
I agree, but I don't need toys. I need other adult things.
I will say, I will say, I do have one of the original, like, Miraculous action figures in mint condition because I have not opened it.
Good. Okay, that'll be worth something in 30 years, Delaney. Don't open that.
I know.
Don't open it.
I honest to God cannot tell you where it is at this moment. I have it though, and I have Tiki somewhere too.
Good. Yeah.
I bought.
This is a while ago.
And then I bought only to troll Dylan.
This is a lot of years ago. So they've had bad Ladybug merch for a while. Anyway, the rule, if you're unaware, you can draw fan art of Ladybug and stuff. You just can't sell it. Like, you can't profit off of someone else's IP.
You want to post it on Twitter? That's chill.
Doesn't stop people from selling stuff, but it is illegal. Okay, so that's what Thomas is ranting about. But he has one. Let me go back to that. And he has one reply, which is the highlight of the whole thread. So someone replied to Thomas saying, I love how it's always companies that make millions against individuals that make hundreds at most. And Thomas replied to him, I don't make millions. I live in like crappy area filled up with crack users because I can't get out of overpriced Paris until the production is over. I try to warn people so they don't get in trouble by doing counterfeit without realizing it. Thomas has not deleted this tweet. First of all, this is still up.
The first reply to this tweet is like amazing.
Thomas, what is he? What are you talking about?
Thomas is so confused in this tweet.
So we don't understand the economic and geographic situation of France or Paris, so we really can't understand. But to
be fair, I mean, this isn't like. I don't live in a big area, but I have previously. And, like, it is, in fact, like, there's cities like this in the U.S. Like, this is a thing.
Yeah, overpriced. Okay, definitely get that. He says, I live in S area filled up with crack users because I can't get out of overpriced Paris until the production is over.
Look,
so,
everywhere has crack users, Thomas. That's just a fact of life.
Let's break this sentence down. This is like maybe the best sentence in the English language. So, he says,
Thomas is going to immediately unfollow us after this video.
I think he loves it. I don't know though. I'm not sure. So he's, believe me, we're not being influenced by Thomas saying he listens. We're still going to break down his tweets. Okay, no bias here.
No.
The first thing is I can't get out of overpriced Paris until the production is over. Thomas wanting to leave Paris. This show's a love letter to Paris. Like this is really dissonant with the show he's making.
Tower is in every scene. Like.
He's just like, I hate Paris here. Like, what?
It's not Ladybug unless there's an Eiffel Tower or the Louvre or something.
There are like so many episodes that take place either in the Louvre or on top of the Eiffel Tower. Like, we literally will have an episode that's like in another, like, literally, like, it'll be across Paris, and then somehow in 22 minutes we end up in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, and
in our big scene,
Hawkmoth hits his son into the
and he blows up.
And the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, okay, we talked about that. Yeah, okay, so that's and then that's the second part. Obviously, is the crack users. Like, okay, you live in a crappy area, sure. Overpriced Paris, sure. Crack users, like, okay, this is definitely, at the very least, this is not quote unquote politically correct. But I'm not sure how offensive this is. But like, I don't think he should be tweeting this. That's all I'll say. Like, seems like a bad idea.
But Dylan, there are crack users everywhere.
Just filled with crack users. Like, okay. So there you go.
It's also the word choice, filled up with.
Filled up.
And of course, Thomas is a native French speaker, right? So we give slack, but it's like, this is the best. This is his best tweet so far, I think.
I wanna know where he would live if it wasn't in Paris.
Okay, well, maybe that we'll find out in the Ladybug after story where Miraculous Ladybug future when Marinette and Adrian are living in the country together. Yeah,
oh, nice.
And we'll see it then.
Obviously, he's moving to London. That's what Star Train was actually about.
That's what Star Train was about. Get out of the crack user city into
Head to
London.
And how else are you supposed to know unless you see Big Ben?
Big Ben, yeah. Okay. That's Ladybug future is with Big Ben there. Okay, so there's Thomas's Twitter update.
He can only move somewhere where there is and I don't mean like a normal, like, oh yeah, there's this like really cool thing in the city that everyone knows about. No, it has to be ginormous. Like, he's moving to San Francisco. Like, it has to be like huge, like this ginormous monument.
San Francisco, there's more crack users there. Thomas, don't go there.
Okay, April is gonna have a report next week on the amount of crack users per city.
I'm gonna do some research.
Okay, actual next podcast topic though. We've also the other news is we get more glimpses of the movie updates. So I think next week let's do something about the movie. We talked about this before, but we'll go over everything we know about the movie, and then we can speculate on what it might be about. And also, I want to say people can send in their theories on the movie.
Ooh, I'm excited.
For the week after.
Can I do dramatic readings?
I think that's like making fun of them, but sure, if you want to.
No, it's not making fun of. I'm just going to read it dramatically.
Okay.
So
April, send in something for April to do a dramatic reading of. Get those in before March 22nd. Email podcast@overlyanimated.com. Put in the title like movie theory or something. So it can be a theory if you know all of the, like, because in theory I think we do know generally what the movie's about, so it can be in line with what we know, or you can know nothing about the movie and it can just be wild speculation. Either is valid. So
and you know what we enjoy. So
please send us particularly wild speculation. Get your theories in. So we'll talk about the movie next
theory about like Miraculous Ladybug in space.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So Delaney's gonna present that next time.
Yes, I have to read it. One of you is going to send it in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, there you go. So, anything else, Delaney or April?
No.
I just, like, this tonal shift from talking about the episodes to the tweets. Like, I'm not...
Yeah, that was a very serious podcast until we talked about the crack users, yeah. Okay.
no one commented when I snuck in my space dumpster thing. So like, it's important. We have to say space dumpster at
Yes.
least 3 times in
We're
the podcast.
we're contractually obligated.
Yes.
Actually, y'all said so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said we don't talk about it enough. So yes, okay. You've confirmed our bias. Okay, so we'll talk about the movie next time. Maybe we'll have updates on tweets. Probably not every podcast though. Subscribe overlyanimated.com, our Discord overlyanimated.com/Discord, and support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, especially our patron podcast Otaku Guy 01, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers Ryan, Steve, Ox, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Check out our Steven Universe Future podcast. That's big this month, and our Castlevania Not Appropriate for You Children. That was also out recently.
I'm not even sure it's appropriate for me to watch.
I don't think so.
I'm like, y'all keep talking about it. I keep seeing things, and I'm like, I don't think
it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate for Delaney. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.